Hey guys, Bill Soriano here from Pittsburgh, 8:52 a.m. on Wednesday, October 29th. Um, it's Wednesday and I haven't been able to take a trade yet this week. Again, I trade on the 5 minute time frame using our community's ATH Pulse multi-time frame indicator along with the JIFU Sniper Pro Scanner. This is the trade plan. I use it on the 5 minute. Again, you can use it on the 15 or the 30. We also have videos that my buddy Dave Thomas has made. He does a weekly recap showing trades that he takes on not only the 5 minute, but also the 1 hour and the 4 hour time frames. So if you're somebody that doesn't have a lot of time to trade, we have truck drivers driving around on the road with their laptop, taking trades on the 4 hour time frame using our strategy. Now, our strategy on the higher time frame is a little bit different. We don't need to actually use our ATH Pulse indicator for the higher time frames, but everything else is the same as far as what we look for. And there's also less things we look for on the scanner as well. We don't need all of these conditions to match on the scanner. All we need on the higher time frames is a matching card color with the trend box, right? So on 1 hour and 4 hour, if you come to a chart and you see that you have a matching card color with the matching trend box, that is actually a trade that you can take on the higher time frames. I'm showing you this on the lower time frames. So anyway, it's Wednesday. Like I said, I haven't been able to take a trade yet. But we did have some news today at 8:30 a.m. So let me just show you that. I like to use my FX books, right? For the economic calendar there for the news. A lot of people in our community use Forex Factory. Doesn't matter which one you use, just pick one and stay with it. But they are a little bit different. You see here, we had some high impact news. We're only looking for red folder news or high impact news. And we had that on the dollar here at 8:30 a.m. So I wanted to stay away from any trades this morning until after that 8:30 a.m. time. Now, we also have some high impact news coming up on the Canadian dollar. So you want to stay away from any Forex pairs that have the Canadian dollar part of them, right? Um, but it is safe to take trades other than that at this time. And then the rest of the news today seems to be low and medium impact news, right? Until later on tonight, later on this afternoon, we have some news here at 2 p.m. So hopefully, if we take any trades today, we will be able to get out of them by that time, right? Now, if you use Forex Factories usually looks a little different. They use the same color system, so we're looking for that red folder news. You can see here on Forex Factory, it doesn't show any dollar news here. It just shows this Canadian dollar news coming up at 9:45 a.m. It doesn't show that 8:30 a.m. news, okay? But it does show the 2 p.m. news here on the dollar. So they're a little bit different. That's why I like to look at both of them, but you could do whatever you want there. I just don't like to I trade during the New York session. I don't like to take any trades until after the news has passed, right? So we do have this, our ATH Pulse ATH multi-time frame indicator went off right here. Also went off here, you could see, but this wasn't confirmed with the scanner at all. So right here on this 8:40 a.m. candle, we look at the scanner here and we could see that we do have a nice gold candle. So gold works for buys and sells. We normally want to see everything blue for a buy, everything red for a sell, but gold is the only exception to that, right? Gold works for both. We have our scorecard candle, our blue scorecard candle here. We have a bullish um, trend indication up here in the trend box. We also had a blue sniper snake line. That's the solid line down here in the sniper later. And we also have our blue dashed trend line in the sniper later. So we look for those two things down there in the sniper later. We look for the candle We look for the scorecard. We want to make sure price comes into these blue bands here first if we're buying. The red bands, obviously, if we're selling. And we want our trend indicator to be in line. So everything's there on that candle. The only thing that's missing is price does not close on the other side of the 55. Okay. So right here, this is the 55 EMA on the scanner. I also have it here on TradingView. And what I'm able to do is I'm able to set an alert now on TradingView. And once price closes, once a candle closes above this 55, I need the candle to close. This is a 55 period EMA, right? That's what this blue line is here. And if I get a candle close above that, the indicator will go off telling me that I can now look to take this trade. I would want to, of course, go back to the scanner just to make sure that on that candle that closes above the 55, I'm going to want to make sure that I still have a blue candle and everything still lines up down here in the sniper later. I don't want to see anything changing red here. I don't want my candle changing to red or gray. But you can see here that we haven't gotten that close above the 55 yet. So I'm going to pause this video, see if we can get that close above 55 so you can actually see a trade in action, guys. So I will be back on here shortly. Okay, I'm back on here. I did want to show you that we didn't get that cross above the 55 yet in AUD-JPY, but we did get an alert go off here in NZD-JPY. Okay, and so we could see we have the same situation here where price is not above, it's not closed above that 55 EMA for a buy. But let's just look at the Sniper Pro Scanner here, and we could see that what's missing here. So we're blue, we're bullish. We have a gold candle, which works for buys or sells. We have price down in those blue bands before it starts to move back up, right? Now we know we don't have price above the 55 yet. We have a blue sniper line and then we have a blue dash trend line. What's missing? What's missing on this one is that scorecard. There's no scorecard. So without that scorecard, we can't take the trade. And really, I don't even look at this anymore if the scorecard's not here. Now, there have been some instances where I've gone back to a pair. Maybe we get another ATH alert, and you see that maybe one or two candles later, a scorecard does eventually appear. If you do that, it is safe to take the trade as long as everything lines up. It meets the trade plan, right? All the conditions will be met. But normally you won't even go back to this to look because you'll be moving on to other pairs where new alerts come out. But this is one I wanted to show you because everything here, of course, it hasn't closed above 55 yet, but everything else was here except for that scorecard. And that's really the most important thing. Really, the scorecard is the very first thing to look for once you come to the scanner. If it's not there, then there's no point in looking for anything else. Okay, so we're still waiting for that AUD-JPY to cross and close above 55, but we did get another alert here. You can see here on TradingView, these alerts go off, makes a loud beep on my laptop, and that way I know to come to the charts. Otherwise, I can go watch TV. I can do whatever I want, right? You can see here that that candle, it looks like it doesn't quite close above the 55. It doesn't actually, if you look at the numbers over here. The next one, though, does. However, when we come to the chart here, we could see that first thing we see is there's no scorecard. So we really don't have to look at it anymore. We could also see it's not down here in the bands. There was a scorecard earlier today, though, at 6:15 a.m. That's important. I'm going to show you that in a second. But also, the NASDAQ has just been climbing up like crazy over the past few days. And you could see here, here's where we got that other alert right here earlier this morning. And this was a valid alert where you could have taken that trade once this candle closed above 55. And you can see it does make a nice move up here before it corrects. But right now, it doesn't meet our trading plan, so we wouldn't want to enter. But we could have entered this trade had we been looking at earlier today at 6:15 a.m. You can see there's our indicator right there. And you could see on the scanner right here, that is the same candle where the scorecard came out, right? So again, here we're still looking for AUDJPY to cross and close above that 55. It looks like it may do that on this candle here. So we'll have to wait. And I'm going to pause this so I don't, so it's not a long video. Okay, I'm back on here because we're getting a lot of alerts going off right now today, which is good because, like I said, I wasn't able to take any trades the past 2 days, Monday and Tuesday. And we had news earlier today, so I couldn't get any trades then. So now we have OddCAD here. You can see the alert went off in OddCAD. There's our ATH indicator right there. Of course, price is not above the 55 yet, so we would have to wait for that. But if we look at the scanner here, we could see that, let's just look here. This is the 9 a.m. candle, 9:05, I'm sorry. And when we get to the scanner, we could see back here at 8:40, we did have a scorecard. So that is a valid scorecard, even though it did occur prior. Like I said, sometimes, I told you before, they occur sometimes prior. And then there's some instances where they occur after, right? But in this case, you do have a scorecard. You have a +7. You're bullish. Price was in the blue bands. But down here, you can see you're still red, right, on that candle. And the candle's gray, which is no good for either a buy or sell, right? Gray, you want to stay away from. And you could see here, then down here, you do have a blue sniper line, but the dash line is red. So you don't really turn everything blue until right here at 9 a.m. And lo and behold, guys, that is when this indicator comes out then at 9 on the 9:05 candle, right? So now again, we just need price to close above the 55 in order to take this trade. And again, I would want to come back to check the scanner to make sure everything still is blue for a buy at that time. So we have an alert set on AJ, and I'm also going to set another alert here on OddCAD. Now, I wouldn't want to take both these trades. I would just take the first one that presented itself, right? But what we want here is what we want price to cross up above that 55 EMA, and we want once per bar close because we want the candle to close before it checks to see if that condition is met. So we have that alert set now, right? So we have an alert set for the 55 cross on both OddCAD and on AUDJPY. Now you can see here AUDJPY is starting now. It's starting to drop now. So that's a pretty strong impulsive candle to the downside here. We didn't get that close above the 55. It just kind of got stuck there. And so we'll have to wait to see what happens. You know, OddCAD may be a better opportunity for us, right? So let's pause this and wait and see what happens. Let me come back on here because I did, I don't want to steer you guys wrong here because I mentioned the alert going off in OddCAD. And we were watching AJ, right? We were trying to get that close above the 55 and we just didn't get it, right? And then you could see the prices then come down. And, you know, had you taken this trade without waiting for price to close above the 55, then you may have gotten stopped out on it here. You know, there's a chance that you didn't, but, you know, I like to put the stop a little bit below the low in this case here. So I wouldn't have gotten stopped out, but it come very close. Again, we could still wait for this to close above the 55. and go back just to double check with the scanner to make sure everything's in line. Now, you may have heard that alert go off in OddCAD because we did get that close above the 55 EMA, right? However, what I almost forgot was that if you remember earlier today when we checked for the news, we seen that there was still some high red folder news coming out in the Canadian dollar at 9:45 a.m. Okay, so right now it's 9:26. So we wouldn't want to take any trades in this pair until after that news has passed, right? I like to wait at least 5 minutes, until the news has passed. And of course, I wouldn't want to take this setup because these candles may be forming a certain way because of the news, right? Because things are going on behind the scenes before the news comes out. Sometimes price makes the move before, sometimes it makes it at the same time as the news, and sometimes a little bit after. So even though everything lined up here for this, remember, everything was good on the scanner, right? We're still all blue, blue, blue. Everything's blue for a buy. But because of that news, we can't take it. So we'll have to wait here. And we're still waiting to see if AUDJPY can eventually come up here and close above this 55 before it takes out this low here. Okay, so as long as it doesn't take out that low, which it hasn't done yet, then I'm still looking to take this trade. If it does take out that low, then that invalidates this setup for me, right? Okay, let's wait and see what happens. Okay, guys, still haven't been able to take a trade this week yet. We were waiting for AJ. Now we got another alert in GBP USD here. See our alert goes off. We're in a downtrend here. We are below the 55 at this point. So let's see what the scanner says for GBP USD. Okay, and what's the first thing we notice is, again, we were looking for a sell, right? We're bearish on this. We're getting bearish ATH alerts. And so you can see here that we have no scorecard, right? We're bearish, no scorecard. And you can see actually the last scorecard was actually a bullish scorecard going against the primary trend, right? So again, there's nothing to see here. And so we'll have to just continue waiting. Now there is a possibility that we may get another ATH alert, and that may take us back to that chart, and a scorecard may form after here a little bit later. We'll have to see, but we are still waiting for AUDJPY to cross and close above this 55 EMA here. And that's all we're looking for right now. So you can see here, we've been waiting for AJ to cross and close above that 55, but it did take out this low here. But we did get another ATH, right? So we got another alert from our ATH, even though this low was taken out. And so again, when we go back to the scanner and look at AJ, we actually have a new scorecard now. So this is a situation where price came down. We would have gotten stopped out of this trade had we gotten in. But because one of our conditions are the price has to cross and close above the 55 for a buy or below for a sell, we stayed out of this trade. So we stayed out of a losing trade here. So now we have to wait for another alert to come out, which it does. And then we have to come back to the scanner and we see, yes, we have a new scorecard now because now if the old scorecard was there, that would still be good. But that old scorecard, that low got taken out as well in that, and that's why that's disappeared. Okay, so we're all good to go on this candle once it closes, as long as price does close above that 55. Now we did get a couple other alerts come out here. So one came out in NZD-CAD, right? But again, this candle here was that news candle, right? Remember, we had high impact news here on the Canadian dollar at 9.45. So we do not want to take a trade on a candle when the alert is on a candle that is a news candle, right? So I would just stay away from this one, right? Because of that, unless price comes back up and then we get another alert, right? So right now we're looking for AJ. I think maybe an alert came out in CADJPY, right? We did. Price is not quite above, not above that 55. It hasn't closed above the 55. We see the wicks going up there. So if we come to CADJPY, we could see here that there is a scorecard, right? Price blew through those blue bands there. We do have a scorecard. We're bullish here. We have a gray candle, which is no good, but this is a blue candle forming right here. Price is trying to close above that 55 EMA. So we could get a trade in AJ or CJ here today, which would be our first trade of the week, guys. Right? So uh, I've been pausing this video not to make things too long for you, and you could see kind of what I'm doing every morning when I'm trading. So I have to stay with this. I can do other things and just wait for the alerts to come off, but I do have to be at the house here. I don't want to take any trades on my mobile device because I don't have access to everything that I need. And so I am at the house, but I'm doing other things that I need to do, or I'm watching TV. Um, Now we did get a alert here on AUDJPY because we did get that another ATH came out right here, which we already knew about that. So again, no close above the 55. And again, CADJPY is not closing above the 55 either. You have this resistance here. You got these wicks going up here, but then price is getting pushed back down. So no trades to take yet, guys. I want to hopefully show you what I do on Trade Locker when I take the trade and how I mark up the charts and everything like that. But just haven't been able to take a trade yet. So let's pause this again. So turning into a long morning here, and AJ once again waiting for that cross above the 55. We don't get it. Price comes down, takes out the low here. But then lo and behold, we get another of our ATH Pulse indicator go off again here at 10:05. And in this case here, let me see what we got here. So again, we're still working off of this scorecard candle right here. This +9 is still valid here. And the reason why it's still valid is because the stop loss for that particular entry on the scanner, which we don't use, as you know, is all the way down here. So until that would get taken out, this scorecard remains valid. Okay. So we still have a situation where we need to get blue candles, blue down here, and crosses above 55. But what happened with CJ here? I think I missed. Okay, so CJ does cross and close above here. So again, let's look at this again here. We had the alert set for that. Again, this is still valid here. Everything's blue here. So we're actually able to take this trade here in CADJPY if we want to. And you can see here the price is pulling back right now, which gives us a little bit better entry because our stop loss is going to be all the way down here, right? So there was our ATH alert. And then this candle right here crosses and closes above the 55. So let me show you what this looks like in CJ here. When you go to Trade Locker, again, and you want to take a trade, I click this arrow right here, right? And I'm going to click the risk button here. It's a little bit hard to see because it's all black, but I want to risk 1% of my trading account. So I'm going to put 1 there. And then I'm going to pull my stop loss down to here, right? It's going to give me a stop loss thing there. And I want to just scroll over to make sure I'm putting my stop loss in the right place. And that will then give me my lot size of 0.63 so that I could take this trade. So I'm going to go ahead and execute that trade. So we are in a trade, first trade of the week here. And so what I want to do here is I want to come to the scanner and I want to take an image of this. They don't have the image here anymore, so you just have to kind of use your snip tool. Right, now I use the snip tool here to just take an image of this. I want the whole window. Save that there on my desktop. And that way I'll have that because again, if this trade ends up losing, this scorecard will disappear. So we want to be able to see that it is in fact there at the time that we take the trade so I could show you guys that. Now, the other thing I want to do is I'm going to come over here and I'm in Trade Locker. Okay, first I'm going to go to Trading View here. And again, we're going to set this up again. If you're doing this strategy on a demo account, which you should be if you're new or you're just testing this out, the first 25 trades, you're going to go for a 1-to-1 risk to reward, right? So I just want to go to Trade Locker again to see where I actually got in this trade. You can see I got in here at 109,265. Right. So I want to make sure that this has me in here at 109,265. Okay. Now price may look a little bit different from Trading View to Trade Locker, but I just want to get that there. And I know my stop loss was down here. And so in order for me to get a 1-to-1, price has to move pretty far here, right? It has to get all the way up to here. So that's a 1 to 1.02 right there. So we have a lot to go to get to our take profit, but that also means that we have a lot to go before we're proven wrong and we get stopped out of the trade at a loss. So we'll have to see how this goes. And so that's what you want to do. That's the strategy, right? You go for a 1-to-1, right? And then after you take about 25 demo trades, then well, actually 50 I have here, you're going to go for a 1-to-2 and you're going to do another 50 trades with a 1-to-2 and you're going to see which one works best for you, right? You're going to keep track of your results and then you're going to know which one you want to use. Now there's optional trade management here that I use for my challenge accounts, right? Where I set it for a 1-to-2, but I close 1/3 of position once I'm up 0.75% and I reduce my risk in half. Then once up 1.5%, I close another third, move the break even. and then I let that remaining third run to +2, or I get stopped out at break even. So I do that now in Trade Locker. So what I'll do over here in Trade Locker is let's see, I'll set this up. Long position. So that dash line is where I got in. There's my stop loss there, right? So now I'm going to set this to where I'm up 0.75, right? And I'll put a line there. Okay, so that's my first exit point. That's where I'll close 1/3 of the position, and I'll reduce my stop loss in half from here to about here, right? Okay, then my next exit is at 1.5. So right about there. Then I'll put another horizontal ray there. And then my final exit where I want to set my take profit is at a 1 to 2, which is, let's just use that right there. So we'll come here now. We're going to edit this trade, clicking the edit button. We're going to click the take profit blocks up here. It's a little bit hard to see because it's all black. But there's a square right there that you check, and that lights up your take profit so that you can then move your take profit button to wherever you want to put that take profit at and confirm it. Okay, so now we have our stop loss and our take profit set, and we also can see where we want to manage this trade by exiting partial positions. Okay, so we were able to take a trade. This is the first trade of the week, like I was telling you guys. And so I'm going to finish up this video, then I'll make a second video showing the results of this trade, and then I'll just kind of put them together into one video, and we will post that then on YouTube and on Facebook. So look for the video later on today. Once this trade closes, I'll be able to post it for you. Okay, guys, so I'm back here, and I showed you what I was doing this morning, how I was waiting for the trades to come on. I told you how I hadn't taken a trade yet this week, and then we caught this trade here in CADJPY, and I set this up for you. And again, if you're following our strategy, the first 50 trades that you take, you're just going to go for a 1-to-1 on that trade. And this was our entry right here on this trade. You see the diamond right here, the hollow diamond showing where I got in that trade, as I just showed you earlier. And again, you would look for a 1-to-1, right? So that would mean that you would set your stop loss there, your take profit would be here, and you'd be out of this trade with a 1% gain, right? On your next 50 trade block, you're going to go for that 1 to 2. And then after you complete these initial 100 trades on demo, then you're going to make a decision, do I want to go for 1-to-1s or should I go for 1 to 2s, okay? On the 1-to-1s, you're going to have a higher win rate, okay? But you're going to probably make more money going for 1 to 2s. You'll have a lower win rate, but you'll have a higher profit potential, right? Going for 1 to 2s. So what I show you with my challenge account is how I set this up where I would exit 1/3 of the position once price hit a profit of 0.75%. Then I would exit another 1/3 once it hit 1.5%. And then I would exit the remaining 1/3 of the position at a 1 to 2 at a 2% gain. Okay. So as you could see exactly what happened here, you could see I have 3 red diamonds showing where I got out of this position, right? 1/3, 1/3, and 1/3. So right here, price came up. It hit that initial target. I exited 1/3 of position. At that time, I moved my stop loss. I cut my risk in half. So I moved my stop loss essentially right to here, say. Okay, so now if it comes back down, I can only lose, right, half of 1%, but with just 2/3 of the position left, right? So basically what happens is it ends up being about a break-even trade. If you do it correctly, you end up losing about $7 or $8 on this trade, okay? If you come up to here, exit 1/3, and then you get stopped out, okay? Now you can see that didn't happen though. Price kept moving up. It came up here, eventually got to the 1.5% target, right? And so I exited another 1/3. And then at that point, my stop loss gets moved to break even, so I can no longer lose anything on this trade, right? And then you can see the price shot up here, and it did shoot up on news, guys. This was a news candle here. I decided to just let it go since I was in profit. I knew that the news was coming up here at right around, I think the news actually came out at 2 p.m. Today on the dollar. And you could see here that this 230 candle, 235 candle shot up right here, and that took us out of the trade. So again, there was a trade I showed you today from start to finish. We were looking for a trade. We hadn't taken one this week. And so right now, if you've been following me, you know that I passed phase one of this challenge account probably about a month ago. And I've been working on phase two here where I have to get to $10,500 in order to pass phase two, which is a 5% gain. Phase one was an 8% gain. I hit that. Now I have to go. Now they take you back to $10,000, and you have to get to 10,500. And you can see that I'm just about halfway there. I'm at $10,227. Again, this is my funded challenge account here with Top One Trader. So once I get this to 10,005, then I'll pass the challenge. I'll be able to trade and split the profits at 80%. Okay, so that's what I'm working toward here. It has taken me a little bit longer, though, to get there. I could show you the results of this just so that you see. I wanted to do this trade like this today for you from start to finish because people always say, hey, you don't actually show yourself taking any trades. You just kind of show what happens after the fact. So I do want to show you, if we go to top one trader here. Let me just log into this account here. Just 1 second here, guys. Just bear with me here for a second. And so you could see here that this was phase one right here. You can see in phase one, using this strategy on the 5-minute chart, guys. This is this strategy that I outlined for you guys earlier here, right? This is our trade plan. I do it on the 5-minute. You could do it on the 5, the 15, or the 30. We also have a way to do it on the 1 hour or the 4 hour if you don't have a lot of time to trade. Like I told you earlier, we actually have truck drivers that are driving around with their laptops and they're actually taking trades on the 4-hour time frame while they're doing their trucking job, right? And so this is the strategy. You wait for the ATH alarm to go off, then you go to the JIFU Sniper Pro Scanner, JIFU Sniper Pro Scanner to make sure everything else matches there, right? Once it does, you take the trade. Again, go for 1-to-1 on the first 50, the second 50, a 1-to-2, and then I show you the optional trade management plan that I just outlined for you on that trade that I use when I'm taking on my funded challenge account, right? So that's the strategy that I've been using for every trade during this challenge. So this was phase one. I had a 62% win rate. You see, I had to have an 8% gain, so I had to take this $10,000 starting balance up over 10,800, which I did. So that was a 62% win rate. And let's see here. Right, 39 trades. It took me 39 trades to do that. Okay. Now this is phase two right here that I'm currently on here. You see it says active. And right now I only have about a 39% win rate. Okay. So the win rate's a little bit different. Again, it's the same strategy I'm using. It's just this is what you see over time. You're able to determine what your win rate's going to be and whether or not you're going to make money with a particular strategy. And you can see though, even with just a 39% win rate, I'm at $10,227. I need to get this to $10,500, right? Now, again, I've taken 33 trades already. So it's been a lot more difficult during phase two here, but I'm just kind of moving along. You just have to stick with your strategy. You can't get upset. You can't let your emotions take over. You can't change your strategy just because you're not winning as many trades as you were during your phase one of your challenge, right? You have to stay consistent. You have to stay consistent, right? Best thing I could tell you to do is to get a book by Mark Douglas called Trading in the Zone, right? You want to look at those five fundamental truths of trading, right? You want to look at those, you want to study those, you want to listen to those over and over again every day. So that's where I'm at, guys. Trying to get to that 10,500. So I pass phase two of this challenge. That will give me a funded account that I can earn 80% and 80-20% split on. And then I'll go for a eventually for a $50,000 account, right? So that's where I'm at. And this was a trade I wanted to show you today. I showed you this trade from start to finish. Have a great night, guys. If you want to try us out for a week, you could try us out risk-free for a week. You can check this strategy out, whether you're using the lower time frames or the higher time frames. And after you can get started on a Saturday, purchase your membership with the company. I'll send you a couple videos to watch. Take maybe an hour and a half to watch them. You'll learn the strategy. You'll be able to then look during the week to see how your trades would pan out, right? And you can make a decision then on Friday. If it's for you, you keep going. If it's not for you, you don't think it's going to work for you, or you just don't like it for whatever reason, you just contact the company and request a refund, and they'll give you your money back in full as long as you're within that 7-day window. So if you want the link to that, let me know, and I'll shoot it over to you. Have a great night, guys.